Okay. So Pokimane posted this video a couple days ago. It's almost got 1 million views. It's called Why I Took a Break and What's Next for Me. We're gonna watch this together. I have not seen this yet. So this is gonna be my first time watching it. I've seen the reactions from her posting this from fellow creators. So I know it's gonna be some good stuff. And we're gonna break it down and then talk more broadly about burnout. Also tips about how to like mitigate it. My own advice, your guys' experience, if you have questions. We're going to talk about the whole situation. We also have an NPR article to go through as well. So let's start with this. I think this is a good starting point here. Let me get my headphones on so I can hear better. All right.
Do you want to be a streamer or engineer? I want to be happy, bro. Whatever can make me happy. Alright. We've got a lot to talk about. I don't remember the last time I was like nervous because I had to sit down and film a video, but here we are. Alright, talk with your chest. I'm like, he's so nervous. And for what? Alright. So, you read the title of the video. If you didn't already know, shortly after I moved recently, moving vlog soon, I took about over a month break from streaming and content creation and social media and kind of just everything. And to be honest with you, I've been putting off talking about it, especially because I wanted to make sure that if I do talk about this, I go about it in the right way and I express myself properly. And for a long time, I just wasn't 100% sure about how I felt. I just had a lot of feelings. But my break has given me a lot of clarity, and so I figured maybe it's time to kind of open that can of worms. So let's talk about why I took a break, and we'll go in order of like least important to most important, so that I can build up the courage. Of course, for starters, all the classic reasons that people take breaks, feeling burnt out or tired of reading the same annoying comments. I moved and I didn't realize, like for the first couple weeks, how much I had been putting off doing all the things I need to do to take care of myself. Decorating my new place, taking care of my stream room, which I'll show you guys soon. Even like finding grocery stores nearby that you like, getting into a good routine with a gym nearby that you like. Legit, like the basic human things I was not doing, and I was very much putting on the back burner. If you didn't know, I started streaming as a hobby when I was 17. I'm so excited to stream forever. And then around 21, I started doing it full time. And I'm 26 now, so it's been like 8-9 years of putting myself out there. Hi everyone, welcome to my dorm video. And it's been a very, very fun ride, which I'm really grateful for, especially for you guys joining me on this ride. But I do also recognize that putting myself out there so much, especially streaming, it revolves around this constant feedback loop of people telling you what they think of you. From 7-second TikTok clips to 10-minute YouTube videos to 10-hour streams, and they all revolve around comments. What do people think of me? What are people reacting positively to? And obviously as humans, we kind of just rinse and repeat what people like. I feel like, especially as content creators, like whether we want to admit it or not, obviously we want people to like what we do. But I also feel like as an adult in their formative years, you're figuring out who you are, discovering yourself. And I feel like when I'm just constantly putting myself out there, I'm not taking the time to actually reflect or grow as an individual or think about what I like. Like for example, if people only reacted positively to when I wear my hair straight or when I take photos like this or when I do that, like you kind of just figure, oh, this is my job, I should just keep doing what performs or does well.
I mean, yeah.
When your job becomes such a big part of your life, you don't realize the toll that takes on you as a person or how much that influences who you're becoming. And so if you've been following me for a while, you might have picked up on the fact that every 2 years or so, I just feel the need to freak off and disappear for a while. Because I feel like if I don't, I don't get to really like touch base with myself, think about, am I turning into the person that I want to be? Am I doing things for myself? Am I doing things for others or for the validation of others? To me, like that's just my self check-in slash grounding mechanism.
This is like very mature. This is a very mature mindset, especially because she really started blowing up, like she said, when she was like 21. And that, like, you're so young and so susceptible to just fame and fortune. You know, it's like we see all the stories about like child stars and what happens to them. And because you're so young and like you could be easily influenced and manipulated and reckless with your decision making, and you just kind of fall off. And I didn't even realize she was that young. Like, she's only 26 years old. Dude, what the heck, man? This is mind blowing. And Ludwig is 27. How are these people so young? You know, usually I feel like when I was growing up, you'd see someone older than you. Like, or you'd see like a child star, right, in like a movie, and then you're like, oh my gosh, they're so much older. What's happening? And it's like the opposite. I don't know. What's up, Ryan? But this is like a really like super insightful thing. I don't know if this applies to everyone. Like, I definitely think it's really important when you're, if you do this full time and you do get a lot of like comments and you're like really absorbed in content creation, it's definitely important to like take a step back and reassess. Um, but yeah, I'm like very impressed that she has like this kind of insight. She's like, every 2 years, I take a break, I disconnect, and I figure out who I am. And like, I don't know if I've ever heard anyone really put it that way when it comes to burning out and getting wrapped up in content creation. And I love the way that she put that. What's up, Deb? How's it going? Kitty!
So yeah, in summary, I think sometimes when you're like chronically online or chronically outputting content, it's very easy to lose touch of who you are. I actually found a comic that I feel describes this really well, which I will insert here. A friend once told me that creativity is like breathing. When you make stuff, you're exhaling, but you can't exhale forever. Eventually, you have to breathe in, or you'll be dead. This is why I try to read a lot of books, spend time outdoors, and why I pivot from project to project.
True.
All of these things I consider breathing, and they make me better at what I do. They make me love my job. This is why I sometimes disappear for weeks or even months at a time. When I do this, I'm not abandoning my work or being lazy. I'm just trying to breathe.
True. That's good. That's actually something that I talk about quite a bit when it comes to burnout, but just like creating content in general. When you feel like you have nothing to talk about, especially if you have like a slower chat, right? Like, if you have a slow chat, you have to keep talking, and a lot of the pressure is on you. And I've gone through this a couple times where I run out of things to really say or talk about because I haven't done anything. And I'm like, I need to go out and I need to go do things. Need to travel, and even just like going to a movie or dinner or something, get out of the house, so that when you go back to stream, your content is so much better because you feel refreshed. You have new things you can talk about. You have new experiences you can share. I mean, that's the beauty of streaming, right? It's like all about you and your life, and it's like kind of like a personal thing, you know? You're sharing that with others. And if you just work all the time like me, it becomes stale. You're just like, okay, well, I've not watched anything new. I haven't done anything. What have I done except stream and work, you know? Who is this lady? This is Pokimane. Really? You guys, it shocks me that you guys don't know who people like Pokimane and Ninja are. I mean, I get it because I am very invested in the streamer verse, but like still, I mean, how do you not know who like I feel like Pokimane and Ninja especially are like icons for streaming. I didn't recognize her. I found out who Ninja was because he was on The Masked Singer. What's up, Meza? I did see her at TwitchCon, but no clue what she actually does. I wouldn't recognize her either. What's up, Killian? I know who she is, but if I wouldn't have recognized her if I just came in. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. That's easy, the not knowing part. What's up, Go-Go? I know the names, but between the adult stream games I watch, I tend to avoid super high viewer count streams because chat is just a flood, yeah. Maybe there's a lot of new people on Twitch from the lockdowns. That would have been after Ninja's Prime. That's true. That is true. I've heard of Pokey, but don't know the face. Yeah, Meza, yeah. Did she stop streaming? She took a break for the last month or so, so she's talking about why. So far she said the biggest thing is, well, no, this is actually the least biggest thing for her, but she said that, you know, she needed to like get a lot of stuff done when it comes to moving, like figuring out the grocery store, where it is, and the gym, and just like errands and chores. Mr. Frosty, please. Analog, enjoy the lurk. Thanks for being here. It's oh, well, okay, and say well Pokimane, whatever. She can have groceries delivered. Well, whatever. You still need to figure this stuff out and like solidify things, right? Get stuff done. But yeah, so that's what she said so far, and like kind of reassessing like who she is and what she likes to do. So, do you think she's rich enough to retire? Oh yeah, definitely. Easy. Pokimane? Definitely. Ninja? Definitely. Um, but why retire now when it's still such a gold mine for them, right? We're gonna talk about Ninja today, okay? Because I got some I'm gonna put on my Sure Loco hat for the Ninja situation. I've got some thoughts. Okay. We're gonna talk about that today, don't worry. Alright, let's keep going here.
What I want for myself is to feel like I have that space and room to grow and evolve in the ways that I want to change, not in the ways that people want me to change or only in the ways that other people respond to. And I feel like it's really hard to do that when you're glued to a screen for 8 hours, just reading comments about what people think of you. Like if that's all I'm thinking about, I don't have time to think about what do I think of myself? What do I want from myself? What are the things that I'm interested in or want to explore? So I've been just doing a lot of searching for those things. I walk a lot. I love pottery recently. I'll show you guys some things I made. Really just doing basic shit. I like going to the farmer's market. Sometimes you just get so caught up in something, you're not really living your life fully. The most important part of this, and the thing that is also the most difficult for me to talk about, is honestly just coming to terms with my evolving content desires. And what I mean by that is I think my break really cemented within me this feeling I have to want to do a lot more than just streaming. I've played almost every large trendy game, and I hope it doesn't sound big-headed of me to say, but nowadays when I see things on Twitch, it kind of feels like been there, done that. Like I'm not really excited or passionate about much, aside from like generally chatting, connecting with people. IRL streaming is always fun, and there will always be games that capture my heart here and there. I've been enjoying gaming more off stream than on stream, like just playing Switch games and enjoying it the same way that I did when I was young, like 10 or 8 or 14, prior to it being like my job. But all in all,
True.
It feels like I just don't really want to participate in the rat race that is streaming, to be honest. Ah, it's so hard for me to say this stuff. Because I feel, I don't know, I just have this fear that people are going to be like, oh my God, I don't want to cry. Like, it's not that deep, but it is, but it's not. But yeah, I just have this feeling that people might be disappointed in hearing these things. Yeah, essentially, like, when I wake up nowadays, I don't want to run to my PC and game for 8 hours straight. Like, yeah, of course, I still love my gaming sessions here and there, and I'm still a bit of a Valorant addict. Well, I guess just less addicted. I just enjoy it. It's just not at the same pace and frequency that I used to do. And it's not the same pace and frequency that I feel is expected of full-time streamers. Whether you guys realize it or not, there's such a pressure on streamers to follow every trend, to capitalize on viewership, to stream longer than the guy next to them or the guy that they share similar viewership with. Like, it's just a hyper-competitive industry. But ultimately, the reason I say this is because I'm just at a point in my life where it doesn't feel creatively fulfilling to feed into that anymore. In the past, it was fine because like either the games I was really enjoying or something within streaming felt new to me. But right now, it feels like something that I still want to be a part of my arsenal. I just don't want to feel those same pressures that I kind of need to feel as a quote unquote full-time streamer. And a lot of you guys are probably thinking like, wait, you already diversify so much on different platforms. And you're right, I do, but I still feel like there's this pressure that people put on me, that I put on myself, that companies put on me, that contracts put on me, that makes me feel like Twitch has to be my bread and butter. Streaming and gaming has to be like the main thing that I do. And I think I just wanted to talk about it so I could mentally like remove that pressure and just feel free and happy to make whatever content I want to make at any time about anything. And use whatever mediums or platforms feel right for me to use in that.
And the thing is, I envy her because she can. I mean, she can. Yes, maybe she won't stay as relevant, but she is financially set for life. So, and she has a big enough audience that she will do well in whatever she chooses to do. So if she wants to focus on a new platform, do different content, like she will always have a core base that will keep her decently relevant and financially solid forever. Like she should totally I think this video is more for herself because I do understand kind of having to talk out loud and maybe talk to an audience, like create content around the way that you're feeling, because I felt this way. I've felt aspects of this many times, many different times, and especially over the last 2 years where I've changed my content. I did it. I did the change, which is I took a huge risk because I am not rich. I don't have money to fall back on. Like, the stream has to continue and not die out. But it could happen, and it did for a bit. It did. I mean, I went from being a variety gamer, playing all the new games, getting early access, joining creator programs, you know, doing playthroughs and planning out what I'm gonna play, and I just got rid of all that and totally changed what I do, like, completely. It wasn't instant. It was not instantaneous. It took the course of the last year and a half, because I started to juggle gaming and news and advice. Like, I started doing this type of show, and then I would game. And I tried to juggle that. I tried to where I would spend the first 2 to 3 hours doing just chatting and then game for 3 hours. And then I couldn't do that. So then I started to dedicate certain days to gaming and certain days to chatting. and then I couldn't keep it up. I could not stream that much, and it was very confusing to me and my audience. And so over time, just kind of like I still game on Fridays, which is great. It's been fun, and I have a just entirely different Twitch channel now for gaming. There's no pressure, no numbers, no schedule. I don't care. It's just an outlet for me to game and hang out with you guys if you want to, and that's been really nice. That's been really great for me. So I resonate a lot with how she feels, and I was torn. I was like, the pressure of having to do what you need to do. My reasons are a little bit different because again, I financially just couldn't like I can't take a month off of stream. Like I need to pay the bills. Like I can't do that financially. I also can't do that because if you take a long break, it's hard to recover when you're this size. I mean, every viewer matters. It's hard. Pokimane, she's so relevant and popular, she will bounce back. Like she'll have everyone come back. It's like she'll probably have more viewers when she comes back, you know? So for me, my motivations were a little bit different in terms, or my, I don't know what you want to say, but I feel her, but I had different, you know, kind of restrictions into like, I can't take a month off. I took a huge risk. Her risk is much smaller, but the feeling is still the same, feeling torn, right? Like it mentally, oof, I feel like I'm gonna like crash here in a second just thinking about how much I struggled over the last like 2 years and being literally feeling like I'm cut in half. Where half of me is like, I need to keep playing games. This is why I have a following and I need to pay the bills and I have to do this because it is my job. And then the other half of me is like, I'm really passionate about teaching streamers and talking about the industry and the meta. I love it. It's like so fascinating. It uses my brain and I love using my brain. And it's like that's where I want to go, but I can't let go. I couldn't let go of my other half. I like feel like I was being pulled to two different sides, and you know, I had some mental health coaching that I went through to try to talk this out, and being like this total struggle. It's been such a struggle over the last 2 years. Like ah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot, and I feel like this year I've really come to terms with it because I fully committed, right? 3 days a week. This is the schedule. Gaming is truly secondary. And I have lost a lot. I have lost a lot of viewers, of subs, of longtime members that used to be here all the time, and those are people that I like. We don't forget about you if you're a regular in a channel. It's not like if you leave, if Consuelo goes away for like a month, I'm like, where's Consuelo? Where's Consuelo been? Braided Zeus hasn't been here today. I notice these things. Like streamers notice and think about their community, and I've lost people that I'll probably never see again because I don't game really anymore. That's hard. Anyways, ugh. It's just yeah, it sucks. But it's not all sad. Like my my community and my stream like totally bounced back. Like it took a bit, and I'm pretty much 100% doing something totally different. And like I've been doing well. I mean, you know, in terms of the community and the viewership, like things have been going really well, especially the past 2 months. Like I feel like I'm only getting better at what I do now, and I feel like I'm really hitting my stride with things, and it's awesome. Like I'm really happy. I'm really fulfilled. Not to say that when I was gaming I was miserable. Like I have loved everything that I've done, and my whole career has been amazing. Um, but my passion has just changed. Like I still like gaming. I resonate with Pokimane because I don't want to have to game as a job, and I don't want to like think so much about gaming. I want that to be like my outlet for like whatever I want to play whenever I want to play it. And the other thing is when I was gaming all the time, like you know, it felt like work. And I started to just not like to game, and that's just so weird to say, but like when you do it so much, like that's what happens. Um, and now I like love it, and I'm like, there's so many games I've been enjoying lately that I'm excited about, and you know, it's like, but it's like I still hang on to the gaming side, like with my gaming YouTube channel, and I still try to put content out there like when I can, and I'm still like, because I have like 22,000 subs on a gaming YouTube channel, like it's just so hard to like wipe away all the work I've done. Um, Thrown away like 6 years, 7 years of work. Um, you know, it's been a very interesting transition. But again, I don't have any regrets. I don't. I'm so passionate about my work now. It's so fulfilling to me. I love talking with you guys. I love helping and seeing streamers succeed and just learn new things, and just watching the meta, and you know, kind of creating content about content creation. It's to me it's very fulfilling. I love it a lot. Um so I don't have any regrets, and things are going well. Like I think that this is what I was meant to do in the end. I think it like this combines a lot of the skills and the interests that I've always had. Like when I was a kid, I was making websites and projects. I always did online projects and ideas, and so like doing this and with Streamer Square, that's like that's a lot of just my interests, you know, kind of all coming to a head in creating content, and hanging out with Chad and being able to talk to you guys and have these like, you know, real conversations. Um, I know I've missed a lot uh of messages. LVRES says, on that note, I've been a viewer for a while. Used to be Game Spectra, but went through a lot and changed my name. I really appreciate everything you do for the gaming community, Loco, and thanks to all the other wonderful people here too. Thank you so much, and good to see you. I'll be here no matter what, even though not as often because life gets in the way. I'm here for you and the loonies. Thanks, XDion. One thing I'll say is now you're in, you're in. You're part of the industry now, regardless of direction of content you take. You'll have a following regardless. You put the work into it. So while it may flood emotions, looking back and thinking the grass may have been greener in some ways, ultimately I'm sure it's just the same, if not getting better. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I mean, for me, like, I won't always have a following. Like, if I took a month break, there would be hits that I would not be able to recover. And I've seen streamers take really long breaks, and it comes back to the whole thing about burnout and why you should do what you can to mitigate it, because people who haven't experienced burnout, or maybe not have experienced it severely, like you cannot force yourself to come back once you burn out. Like people who think that taking a week off when they're already past their limit is enough, then they're gone for months. Like it can really screw you up forever. The only thing I miss about the early pandemic was being able to be here and hang out more often. Yeah. I know I'm barely here on weekdays, my work schedule, where it used to much better permit my parents on streams, Does not do so anymore. I can tell you that you put 100% into streams, and even if content changes, that is fine. You put up quality, and your happiness only adds to that quality. Thank you. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like I'm not trying to guilt people for not showing up. Like, like, like it's not like I was like, oh, why are you not here? You guys hate me. Like, I get it. Like, I totally understand it. I don't like resent anyone for showing up less or not showing up at all. Like, no one owes me anything, and I accept that. That's fine. But I don't know how much viewers realize that it's not like it like we still think about y'all like when you're a regular and you just like disappear. Like we're thinking about you guys too. You know, it's not just like out of our minds. Like when you're part of a community, I may not know you personally. I don't know what most of you look like or where you're from or what your real names are, but there's still, you know, you're still a member of a community, and online communities have, you know, validity, and um yeah, when you disappear, people notice. When you're around chatting every day and then you disappear, yeah, people will notice that. Is your adaptive style making you happy, less stressed, feeling more spiritually rewarded? Then it's good. Yeah. I mean, I don't think less stress. I think that this is I don't think creating this content is more stressful. I think it's just like I have more responsibility on my plate now than I did when I was just playing games. Like that's all I did. I was 100% into streaming, playing games, and that was my life. But now I have other responsibilities, like my company that I'm trying to grow and make it into a thing. Like I have a lot of pressure and stress, you know, surrounding that. So, and juggling all the types of content, like trying to put out TikTok content and YouTube content and tweeting regularly. You know, I think I need to tap into more of these avenues. And that goes from a lot of streamers. And that's kind of what I want to get into today with Twitch is like, Twitch has changed so much where when I was gaming, that's all I had to focus on was like picking the right games, seeing what's new, seeing what the meta is, and following the meta. But nowadays, it's not that easy. It's you have to do so much more than you ever had to do these days. You have to post on TikTok. You have to go and make YouTube videos. You have to tweet. You have to do all these other things that weren't exactly necessary in the earlier days of Twitch. And that is freaking exhausting. That is so exhausting for anyone to deal with. And I don't know what the origin of this thought was, but I think that's why a lot of streamers are burning out now because it's not it's harder. It's harder to grow, and so therefore you have to work 10 times harder to be 1/10 more successful. Um it's grueling. It's grueling. It feels like a grind, and you're not supposed to say that it's a grind. But content creation is a grind. Even if you love what you're doing, it still is. You have to be tapped in all the time and always thinking and always doing and always creating content all the freaking time. What's up, hero? I'm really far behind. I'm trying to read all the messages, but there are a lot of messages. People play games on here? Plus less people watching streams this year. Yeah, and that's another thing I think why a lot of people are suffering this year is 2020 there was a huge boom in viewership because everyone was working from home. And it was awesome because everyone was around all the time. And so a lot of people were blasting off. I mean, I burnt out in 2020 because I was like, I'm just gonna stream every day because everyone's home and I'm home and I have nothing to do. We're kind of camping out, and this COVID thing's gonna last like 2 or 3 months, and we're just gonna hang out together. And then the world fundamentally changed, and so much more happened in 2020 that we never could have predicted. That just it just everything shifted, and the landscape of streaming changed, and the platform has changed, and then now people are going back to the office, and they're going back to the schools, and a lot of streamers are with inflation and people cutting budgets. Now it's becoming harder to be successful as a streamer on Twitch specifically, because everyone's viewership is down. I'm sure a lot of people's finances are down. I know mine are the last couple of months for sure. Um, things have changed. It's like a balloon that got so big during the pandemic in 2020, and now it feels like maybe it popped or maybe it's deflating or something. And it's like a wake up call for a lot of people. And when you work so hard at something and you don't feel rewarded, and for a lot of people that reward is more viewers and more money, and you're not getting that, but you're committing everything that you have mentally, emotionally, physically to something, and you're just not getting what you feel is the right reward, which is like more people watching. It drains you. I mean, it exhausts you. It's demoralizing. I don't think it's unique to streaming. I mean, there's plenty of platforms that have their struggle where you can post and post and post and you feel like you're not getting anywhere. Um, but as a streamer, I it just feels like so much more because when you're recording a TikTok, there's so much that goes into it, right? It's like some people spend hours and hours and hours to make one 10-second TikTok, but you only have to perform for that window that's being seen. But as a streamer, you're performing for hours and hours and hours straight, and that is, to me personally, I feel like super draining, even more now than ever. It's like I gotta remain cheery and active and hyped for hours at a time. I'm exhausted after the stream. I stream for 3 hours and I'm done. I don't want to talk to anyone. I want to lay on the couch. I don't even want to sit at my desk. And that's why I had to cut back on my streams so much, because it was really draining me. What's up, Bruiser? Yeah, Mark, exactly. So, anyways, I'm doing a lot of tangents here. These are things that I want to talk about today. That, like, we're almost through this video. This is like a 2 hour session of watching a 15-minute video, but we are gonna finish this video. So, and then we're gonna keep talking about this stuff because I know a lot of y'all are kind of feeling the pain of of just content creation and not feeling like you're growing and doing anything. And so yeah, we're gonna keep talking about this. Let me run to the restroom and top of my water really quick. I'll be right back. And then we'll finish up this video, and we also have an NPR article about streamers burning out. So I'm kind of curious to see how NPR covers this, because journalists covering streaming is it can be kind of funny. So I'm curious to see how they cover it and what they talk about there. So anyways, give me about 2 minutes. I'll be right back, and then we'll continue. I'm sorry, Chad. I left you with no entertainment and no music. How awful. Bad streamer. Shame. Shame. Mr. Frosty, thank you for the 100 biddies, by the way. It was so quiet. Got so bored, I died. Hashtag facts. All right. I'm glad y'all made it. I'm glad. All right, let's watch the rest of this video. Let's see if I can get through the last 5 minutes without too many rants. We'll see. No guarantees. I make no promises, chat.
Moment, or however I want to share things with you guys. And it was a very nice realization to think like, well, hey, like if people have been following me this long, maybe they're just interested in what I have to say or my life. And I've already dabbled in so many kinds of content. Like maybe there's so many other things that we can explore together as long as I communicate that with you guys. Like maybe you'd be excited to go on that journey with me. So I guess this is my effort in doing that. Lastly, and frankly, I've just been enjoying my time exploring other platforms. Like it's nice to just take a quick Insta story and share it and then continue to live my life. Or sit down for 10 minutes and film a little TikTok story time and upload it and then continue about my day. Like it's nice to be a little more like light touch here and there. It's just, I feel like other platforms fit into my lifestyle nowadays a little bit better. And I think streaming and gaming still does fit in there. It just doesn't have to be everything. Also, I have the highest female demo on platforms like TikTok, and it's been so nice to bond and connect with people over things that aren't just gaming and streaming. And it's made me realize like, oh, that has been kind of restrictive in the past before, because there's still some of those communities in there, but it's just not as vast and large as it is on other platforms. I really hope that none of this sounds like me being like overly negative about streaming or gaming or whatever. Like obviously that's the place that I came from and a community that I have so much love for. My heart yearns for more, and it yearns to explore more while still keeping that part of my identity. And I really hope you guys can be understanding of that. So here's the fun part of the video where I talk about what you can expect from me coming up. In regards to streaming, I don't know exactly what the frequency will be. It just feels surreal to say that because in the past like 5-6 years, I've had streaming schedules of 6 days per week, and then 5, and then 4. And now it feels really relieving to say like, I'll see you guys when I see you. But yeah, you'll see me across all platforms, especially like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You always see me on those. I just want to feel like I have the freedom to post wherever I want, whenever I want. Expect more vlogs, fit pics, fashion, beauty, traveling. I still love IRL streaming, and I want to plan more IRL trips because those feel so fun and fulfilling to me. And it's been weird. I don't know how much of this we're gonna cut out or leave in, but I have been like oddly emotional throughout this video, and I was not expecting that. Like I knew I was nervous because I wanted to communicate this properly, but I wasn't expecting myself to be emotional. And I think the reason why that is because it's hard not to feel like it's like
I'm having
closing
pain
a
in my
chapter.
abdomen.
But instead, it's really just opening more doors, stepping into a new phase and chapter of my life, which will still not leave anything behind, like still incorporate gaming and streaming and all of these things, but still allows me to do much more, I hope. It's just, it's a little nostalgic, a little emotional, but hey, that's life. That's growing up. And it's been so cool that so many of you guys, oh my God, my voice is cracking. It's been so cool that so many of you guys have been able to like grow up alongside me. There are people who have watched me like throughout high school, throughout college or university or whatever. And it's cool that we get to celebrate milestones together sometimes. Like when you tell me, hey, I just graduated from this, landed my first job. And I think it's time I share these things with you guys too.
Oh, so cute! You're gonna make me cry.
Baby, what the fuck? Yeah.
That's cute.
All right. I can't really tell the viewfinder eyeliner if I look red and stuff, so if I do, sorry. But yeah, it's just an emotional topic because I care a lot about my work. I care about you guys. I am really, really proud of everything I've accomplished. So here's to more.
I sound
not to
like
an end, but to new beginnings.
I
and all
swear
other
I did
cliche
not
things.
watch
Yeah.
this video before I started talking about all this.
Okay, bye.
Wow, she totally copied from my stream, guys, from what I had to say. Okay. Okay, let's get a better thumbnail. That looks like her. Okay. So yeah, definitely can relate. As we talked about a lot of these things for a while. So one interesting aspect about this is Pokimane actually signed Pokimane re-signed with Twitch in February 8th. She announced that she was re-signed with Twitch. Let me pull up this tweet here. Oh, yeah. So she gave away a car. She gave away a Tesla. But I don't know if maybe she didn't sign a contract with Twitch. I don't know. All of the news says she re-signed with Twitch. Let me see. I mean, she just said, and as always. In a Twitch stream discussing the decision, Pokimane says she chose Twitch over YouTube Gaming because she can't get enough of that good Twitch chat, acknowledging blah blah. Okay, maybe she did re-sign with Twitch. Anyways, that was February 2022. Usually these contracts are for about 1 to 2 years. Definitely not 6-month contracts. Which means that she'll probably have to. I mean, I guess she's not going through with it if she does have a contract to stream, because usually she'll have a certain amount of hours to stream, and you have to run ads. But she can afford not to. She can afford to kind of break from that if she does have an agreement with them. So, but yeah, definitely can relate. With the struggle for sure. So let me get some music on and let's talk about how to mitigate burnout, how to avoid burning out, because a lot of us, we cannot afford to just stop streaming for a month. You lose so much momentum. And also, when you stop streaming for a certain amount of time, when you're burnt out, it almost always ends up being longer. Let me take off my headphones. I don't need this anymore. I probably have black stuff because my headphones are dying. But yeah, so when you burn out, it typically there's no defined end period when you experience burnout. Has anyone experienced burnout before, especially if you're a streamer or a content creator? Raise your hand if you have burnt out from streaming. Yeah, I need new headphones. It's just one ear. I don't know what's wrong with my left ear. No, the right one's starting to go as well. Not from streaming, but from college work. Been burnt out many times. What's up, Kiwi? Yeah. So, if you are feeling burnt out or you're getting to that point, first of all, how do you know you're burning out, right? I'm burnt out from working 2 to 3 jobs for 15 years. Jeez, Mordant. Is there a state of being that isn't burnt out? burning out, you know, the most interesting thing I learned about burning out is it doesn't always look like I don't want to do X, right? It's not always so transparent. Sometimes it's just like your mood changes. You're just a little more annoyed about things and bitter and nasty and just you're kind of grumpy when you do things, right? Sometimes it's not wanting to hit start streaming, but sometimes it's after you're done streaming, you feel terrible. Like you feel like crap. You feel down. And people think it's just, oh, it's because of my viewership wasn't good or I'm just tired, but it could also be that you're burnt out and that streaming is taking more out of you than you realize. For me, it's when going live feels like a chore or makes me feel anxious. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's you know, when you're not doing your normal things to get ready for a stream. Circ85, please. I'd say you're burnt out when you feel like you don't have any time to yourself. The things you once loved feel like a chore, yeah. I was burned out on my last job, grumpy and very cynical about everything. I burnt out from my software dev career. I haven't written a single line of code in 6 months. And that's another thing too. If you burn out, it could last a long time. It could last an indefinite amount of time. And when you have to do a thing, but you feel like you can't, that is when that problem exacerbates. So for example, for streaming, people get to the point of burning out. They get to the point, that's the thing. They get to where they can't stream anymore and they take a break. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna take a day off. I need a day off. I need to take a break. Just a day. That's all I need. And that day, they either come back and they still feel exactly the same, or they don't come back for a while. They take that day turns into a week. The week turns into a month. A month turns into 6 months. And again, there's just, I can't, if you burn out, I can't say, don't worry, you'll be fine in X amount of days, because it's different for everyone. And it also depends on the severity of how badly you're burnt out. That is why it's really important to try to mitigate getting to that point. You do not want to get to the point where you cannot get yourself to create content anymore. Because then, I mean, I'm gonna be realistic. If you take a lot of time off, it does hurt your stream. It does. If you take a month off, it is going to hurt your stream, and it might be unsalvageable. If you take a day off a week, that's not gonna affect your stream. If you stream an hour less a day, probably not gonna affect your stream. A day or two off a week, not gonna affect your stream. I stream 3 days a week. And my viewership has been fine. Christy streams 3 days a week. She has grown over the last year. You know, she went from 15 viewers to 50 viewers. Only streaming 3 days a week. You do not have to stream 6-7 days a week to grow on Twitch. Oh, we have roly-poly-olies. Sorry, gotta stop for the roly-poly-olies. They must be observed. Booker is roly-poly-olying. Everyone stop what you're doing and look at the screen. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right, he's done. There's streamers that just update their status. One says taking some time off of streaming, and 'tis been so far more than a year. Yeah. I burned out working in advertising. I had to be creative on command all day, every day, and the deadlines were insane. I've been able to create anything since I quit in 2016. Booker's training for the roly-poly Olympics. Yes. I have done a 3-day-a-week schedule for streaming since the beginning of this year, and it has saved me from burning out through streaming. It has definitely saved me. Tuesdays and Thursdays I spend working. I work from like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and I have meetings and I get stuff done. I catch up on errands and life things that I have to do. I create content on other platforms, you know. I do tweets and stuff like that. So it's not like I'm working less. I'm just doing other things that help me grow. Glad you took the 3-day route. Yeah, I mean, I cannot stream more than I do for many reasons. And one of those is just I need that day in between, you know, like it's just that day helps me just like I get stuff done and I feel better because when I stream, guess what? We have content built up to talk about. I feel more refreshed. I feel less stressed because I've gotten things done and I'm not letting things build up in my life. I'm working on my company, which, you know, I'm trying to get to a point where that is successful. And so those days allow me to do that. And take care of things like with the stream and planning things. Like, so I think really like the days of streaming all the time, like 6-7 days a week, I just don't think it's smart. You can get so much better growth if you take a day or two to refresh, but also work on other platforms as well and try different content mediums that might actually help you with growth. You take weekends off. Sometimes I'll take weekends off. It depends if I have like a lot of things to get done and need to like usually I do a little bit of work in the mornings, Saturday and Sunday. I try to get some stuff done. Sometimes I'll not turn my computer on all weekend because I know I need to disconnect. And if I have like deadlines and a lot going on, and sometimes I just have to dedicate a day of working. But I think for the most part, it's not the working full weekends. That only happens sometimes in like little binges. I think that's why stuff like TikTok seems easier. I think it's good to mix in other content types. It definitely helps to, yeah, I mean, it's the thing. It's like, it's a work, but it's different kinds of work. I think that's a big thing, right? It definitely, I wouldn't say being a full-time TikToker is any less stressful, draining, busy than being a full-time streamer, but it's just different types of things you're busy doing. And also, other platforms allow you to delegate, right? Like if you have funding, you can hire an editor to do your editing. You can hire a content manager who can post and make the thumbnails and respond to the comments, and handle all that. With streaming, there's some things you can delegate for sure, but ultimately you have to be on camera for hours at a time. Like you can't, I could maybe delegate that to Booker because I think he would do better. He would probably be more successful than me at streaming because who doesn't want to watch Booker all the time? But you can't really seriously delegate being a streamer. Even with TikTok and YouTube, you can delegate your production. You can delegate who's writing and creating the skits, who's doing the logistics. I mean, obviously you have to have money and be successful. I mean, to get those delegations done, but it's still possible. You know, if you're making a lot of money on TikTok, there's so much that you can get other people to do. And streaming, there's only so much. Of any other platform, streaming, it just requires the most work at a time. So how do you mitigate burnout? So taking days off, we kind of talked about that a bit. Creating content you're passionate about will definitely help with burnout. And that may change, and I think that's a really important lesson to learn from Pokimane's video and what I've been talking about, which is your passion for what you create might change. Maybe you become more passionate about TikTok instead of Twitch, or maybe you want to like get into something new and maybe you don't want to game all the time. And I think it's important to recognize that and not just fall into the trap of I have to do what is popular and it doesn't matter if I love it or not. Because that's not true. That is a falsehood. You don't have to do that. You should absolutely follow what you're passionate about and lean into what you love, because it's gonna make content creation and creativity so much easier. You know, I think would be amazing, Loco playing D&D. I don't think it would be amazing. I don't think it would. That's not a creative outlet for me. I'm kind of bad at that stuff. Too many spooters in D&D. I don't know if I'd be good at that, but yeah. So follow what you're passionate about. Realize that those passions can change and be okay with that. It's definitely tough to, like I've expressed, it is difficult to get rid of the thing that is doing well for you because you don't love it anymore and do something else. This is a problem with single game streamers. If you're big in Destiny, you play Destiny all the time and Destiny is your life, but you're starting to burn out in Destiny because it happens. And now you're like, well, shoot, I don't want to play Destiny anymore. I'm going to start playing Stardew Valley. And all of a sudden you go from 1,000 viewers to 100 viewers. I mean, this happens. That's why with mitigating burnout, it's important to exercise alternative creative outlets sooner than later. Don't wait until you can't play Destiny anymore. Start building in some other games. And ideally, games that are kind of similar that will get that audience crossover. I have seen too many streamers go all in on one game because it went well for them and they loved it, and then they crash and burn because they don't have a backup, because they didn't think about it, and then when they switch to the backup, they're stuck at like 1/10 of their viewership and they can't get out. I'm not saying that it's perfectly preventable, but you can help it by diversifying earlier. Just a little bit, just a little diversification. And here's another thing. You do not have to make everything into content. You can have hobbies and interests that exist that are just for you. And I think that's really important, because when you feel like you have to turn everything into content, you've turned everything you love into your job. And if you're burning out playing games and you're like, okay, well, I just picked up a new hobby, let me start doing that, you're gonna burn out on that thing too. So keep some things to yourself that are just for you, like maybe gaming off stream and learning how to do that and not feel guilty, or trying something new, or, you know, just carving out time for yourself to do things that you enjoy. Thank you for bringing more awareness to this issue, by the way. Yeah, no problem. I mean, it's happening to a lot of creators these days. I've seen so many creators like stop streaming, disappear from socials, just entirely wipe themselves out. It's becoming way too common. Don't forget that sometimes a single patch add-on can change the game so much that the streamer player can't adapt to it, which often leads to a decline of viewership competitiveness too. Yeah, I mean, especially when there's a meta to a game, you always have to be so involved in the game. As a streamer especially, you're like always expected to be really good, be entirely knowledgeable, you know, be, you know, up to date and at the precipice of peak gaming. And yeah, it's a lot. It can be a lot. What's up, Nautical? How's it going? I've seen one content creator that basically just signs in and racks up comeback subs once a month and has disappeared everywhere else. So wow. Yeah. It's a tough time right now. It's a tough time. And so another thing is Twitch, the platform, has become really hard to grow inherently on. You know, we touched on this at the beginning of the show. You can't just exist on Twitch. Yes, there are some cases where maybe it works, but for the most part, especially when you're starting, Twitch alone isn't enough. So much so that you lean into other platforms and then you don't have time for Twitch because you have to grow on other platforms. You know, that can definitely attribute to burnout as well. You know, there's so much to do for so little reward these days. One thing in my mind that Ollie popped in when I streamed for a month, whenever I did something away from the computer, I questioned if people were watching me. It was just weird. What, you mean like people leaving because you weren't on the screen? Being a semi-known streamer, the expectancies, the public awareness, the drama is rough. Yes. Yeah, because the thing is too, it's like when you take a break, there's a pressure of communicating with your community. Coming back. When are you gonna come back? I miss you. When are you gonna come back? And you know, it's not bad that your viewers are asking you to come back, right? But it does create a pressure of like, oh shoot, I gotta get over this burnout, but you can't force yourself to get over burnout. So that is why it's really important to try to mitigate getting to that point as much as possible. Okay, so let me write this down. Let me write some of these points down, okay? We're gonna go to the handy dandy paint, hashtag not an ad. Tips for preventing burnout. I'm gonna write these down so I can tweet them out later. I don't forget. Otherwise I will definitely forget what I've said today. I don't know if anyone else does that, but when I'm done streaming, I totally forget everything. I'm like, what did I talk about today? That's why I have the mods have to write down like timestamps and the topics because I blank. My mind just wipes. It's like end of the stream, my mind has turned into a puddle. Okay. So 1, take regular time off. Once or twice a week is not going to negatively impact your stream as much as if you burn out and disappear for months. Okay, too small, too small. Okay, number 2. Do other things. Take time for yourself. Go outside. See a movie. Get some experiences outside that you can will help you feel refreshed and bring you new things to talk about. double benefit right there. What's up? Oh, I'm gonna say your name wrong. Joe Gao? Did I say your name right? I'd say scheduling time off is even more important because you're not supposed to take time off when you feel like crap. It's supposed to be a weekly thing. Yes. That's why I want to say regular time off. Because if you can take regular time off, you're much less likely to need a big block of time out randomly. I'm gonna rephrase that. Do things outside of content creation. Also, to that, point 2A, keep some hobbies, interests to yourself. Not everything you do has to be turned into content. Don't turn your entire life into work, because you will never feel like you can escape. 2B. That being said, also diversify what kind of content you create. Throw in new things every now and then to keep yourself interested in your work. What's up, Rulies? How you doing? That's why I use sticky notes so I don't forget my thoughts. That's a good idea. Okay. Let's change this to do other things. There we go. That should better encapsulate what I've been saying. What did I miss? I know I've missed things. See, I've already forgotten. What have I missed, chat? Do other things. Take an actual extended break before you get to your breaking point. Burnout can last an indefinite amount of time. When you start to feel like you need a break, you should take it. Stream as much as you can, no matter how you feel. That is terrible advice. I'm not writing that down. That is the worst advice ever. Yeah, 2 to 3 what, day or week vacation? I mean, I would try to keep, I would say 10 days is probably a okay amount. 2 to 3 week vacation. I mean, it can be okay. I mean, if you need it, do it. But yeah, when you start getting past like 2 weeks, it can start to negatively impact your channel. I would say from what I've seen, I have no statistical evidence, but just from what I've experienced and seen. So do other things, take regular time off, take an extended break. Diversify. This is already bold. Diversify. Keep some hobbies and just to yourself. Anything else? I feel like I've said other things, but I can't remember. Hi, Loco. As someone who has worked in high-stress IT jobs for over 10 years, I highly recommend a 4 days on and 3 days off schedule. A 5+2 work week creates a creeping deficit to your work-life balance and speeds burnout. Thank you, Mr. Frosty. Thank you for your suggestion. Unfortunately, I feel like, especially in American culture, it's like a 4-3 is just unheard of. Unheard of. Okay, what I want to do, maybe I'll add to this. Let's keep this, and if I think of other things, I will add it. I want to look at the NPR article, because if I don't, chat is going to cancel me for bringing up this NPR article 17 times and never actually talking about it. So I'm going to force myself to talk about it. It's related. It's about burnout, okay? This article came out almost a month ago at this point. Burnout turned Twitch streamers' dreams of playing games full-time into nightmares. Ooh. 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 I never know if this is like Steven or Stefan. Stefan Flavel makes his living by playing video games to an audience of thousands on Twitch. Oh, Jorbs. This is Jorbs they're talking about. When he first started streaming, he only had about 15 people at a time watching him. He liked how he could engage with a small community, cracking jokes while people cheered him on. Unfortunately, the vibe changed as his popularity grew. Around 200 viewers was when it started to get exhausting, says Jorbs. Now I have like 2,000 viewers at a time, and when that many people are asking you questions and telling you what to do, it becomes absolutely unmanageable. I started having anxiety bordering on full panic attacks. Jorbs has gotten to a better place now, but his story isn't unique. Burnout is on the rise across the country, even for those whose work is quite literally play. What are these links? Game streamers practices on Twitch and management of well-being. Oh, interesting. We have a study here. Through the affiliate and partner programs on Twitch, streamers can generate an income from stream subscriptions, donations, and advertisements. Let's see. I want to see if there's any results. They're just describing. The saturations of streamers on Twitch, however, makes it a competitive environment with no guarantee of success. Despite the time, mental, and physical commitments to streaming, only a small percentage of streamers can actually sustain streaming as a primary income source. For streamers who have been successful, the grind to stream continuously to build and retain their audience takes a physical and emotional toll, resulting in burnout when they push past their personal limits. Wow, this is like amazing. Like, there are actual studies talking about our job and burning out. The abstract is always a nice TLDR, so let's look at that. There has been a noticeable increase in coverage and academic research on the physical and psychological well-being of game streamers. Existing studies have identified challenges and possible negative effects to streamers' well-being, and they have also explored how streamers utilize the technological features of streaming platforms in their streaming practices. However, scant research has investigated the links between the use of platform features and the management of well-being issues. This study examined how streamers use technological features, the negative well-being issues of streamers, and their coping strategies for these issues. Based on a qualitative content analysis of 23 hours of video interviews with 23 different game streamers discussing well-being issues related to streaming, findings indicate that challenges to well-being arise from prioritizing different outcomes in their streaming practices, and it is game streamers' resilience and self-aware platform feature use that enables them to face these challenges. Fascinating. Fascinating. All right, burnout is on the rise across the country. As in 2020, American workers across the board saw heightened rates of burnout in 2021, and according to APA's 2021 Work and Wellbeing Survey of 1,500 U.S. adult workers, 79% of employees had experienced work-related stress in the month before the survey. Nearly 3 in 5 employees reported negative impacts of work-related stress, including lack of interest, motivation, or energy, 26%, and a lack of effort at work, 19%. Meanwhile, 36% reported cognitive weariness, 32% reported emotional exhaustion, and an astounding 44% reported physical fatigue, a 38% increase since 2019. Oof. Wow. I have so many gray hairs. Chat, I used to have 1 or 2 every now and then. Whenever it started, like when I would go to a convention. Or no. It started with E3 and trying to do coverage for E3 and putting on the live shows that we did where we had different guests on each time, and we had a schedule and social media and getting all that together. And I would always get a gray hair or 2. And now I've given up trying to pluck them because there are so many hidden underneath my hair, chat. This was 2017? Are you saying this is 2017? What are you saying this 2017? 1 gray hair for every dad joke, yeah. While professional video gaming can sound like an enviable gig, it's not too different from being a performer. Streamers have an audience, a persona, and act in the same role for long hours. Streamers can't really take breaks either. They risk their fan base losing interest during a stream and logging off. Since they're self-employed, they can't rely on paid vacation or sick leave. That leaves streamers wondering how to navigate making an income that isn't an official job. If you have breaks during your stream, how do they work? Asked a Reddit user on our Twitch. I've been streaming for a little bit, but found it difficult for me to go for much longer than 2 hours. Another Redditor commented on the appropriate length of a break. 20 minutes is way too long. I recommend 5 minutes because you don't want people to lose interest. When Jorbs first started out, he also wasn't too keen on taking breaks, and that extended to time offline for vacation. I would worry about viewers losing interest in my channel if it was offline for a week or 2. But nowadays, my content is unique enough and my viewers are long-term enough that my viewer base consistently returns when I come back. Yet even now, many of Jorb's vacations are really still work. Conventions like TwitchCon, opening celebrations for different game studios and production companies, in-person content creation opportunities, and other private chances to schmooze with sponsors or investors all give the illusion of taking a break when ultimately actually being another work weekend. Mr. Frosty, thank you for the 420. Hi, Loco. I'm currently on mental health disability leave from my IT job due to stress and overwork. Please make a 4+3 work week a part of your guidelines for the sake of yourself and others. Mr. Frosty, I'm so sorry that you're going through that. I hope that that's something that you can enact. And definitely, I mean, of course I'm going to encourage that. It's just, I don't know if it's very possible as a content creator. Like, I already, like, if I don't tweet every single day, it hurts the algorithm. If you don't post on TikTok every day, it hurts the algorithm. It's not easy when you're self-employed. And that goes for anyone who runs their own business. I don't know if that's even possible. Mixing it up and risking it all. Twitch audiences can also demand that streamers play games they may have soured on. Halian, another Twitch streamer known for playing roguelikes, got tired of trying to escape the underworld of Hades day in and day out, but that game made his stream popular and his fans weren't pleased. I was already burnt out from Hades, but I was splitting my time 50% other games and 50% Hades. You get people that you don't really want to hear say, when is he gonna switch to Hades? Why hasn't he started Hades yet? What followed was a different kind of hell. Viewer participation dropped when Halion started dedicating more time to other games. Fewer people would tune in if he wasn't fighting the Furies or squaring off against the Bull of Minos. That risked his livelihood. How interactive people are with me and how interactive I am with them, all those things directly hit my wallet. Every content creator has gone through this, especially the ones that play games. They start with this one thing that's popular and they try to do something else, and it's a struggle. Stiff competition and inconsistent support. Twitch's competitive culture also fans the flames. It's not just that a streamer can tire of a game or rude viewers, they can also fall victim to a pervasive always-on mentality. Taylor Chow, director of talent management at Evil Geniuses, an esports and gaming entertainment company, says that Twitch can be a pretty toxic work environment. When you're a streamer, you truly know that every single second that you're not online grinding, posting, streaming, somebody else is. That's a lot of pressure for people to learn how to manage. Chow also says that communicating with your audience and having a support system is key to mitigating streamer burnout. Most of the best ways to deal with burnout start with a support system. When you're a streamer, make sure that your community has a sense that this is a person they're watching. That support has helped Jorbs get his mojo back. He still plays his favorite game, Slay the Spire, for his audience every week and has a small team to help him manage sponsorship contracts and interviews. But that kind of structure can take years to build, and while fans have rallied around streamers, they can just as often stress or even harass them. That leaves many burnt out and on their way to signing off for good. That was a decent coverage of burning out, I think. I think they did a pretty good job here. I think, yeah. I think this was pretty good. There's some kind of Autobot that can post messages on time delays itself when you are out. What do you mean? What kind of messages would it post? My buddy took a week off for vacation, but he was tweeting and posting photos in Discord every day during his vacation. Yeah. Oh, like tweets? Yeah, you can schedule tweets. Yeah. This is like so fascinating. I want to read through this and oh my god, it's 24 pages. I mean, I'm not saying I'm going to read it out loud with you guys, but I wish I want the bandwidth to go through this and pull things. Let's go to the conclusion. Twitch as a streaming platform provides game streamers a space to perform, connect, interact, and influence their audiences. Game streaming practices enabled by the platform and its features are not inherently good nor bad for well-being. However, streamers face different challenges based on their prioritization of streaming outcomes. Negative well-being challenges might only surface when streamers are unable to find the balance between those priorities and a healthy lifestyle. What's up, furry? Hey, how's it going? Yeah, I don't know why the notification. You did a raid? I think it says that you did a host. But thank you. How's it going? How was your stream? What'd you do? An individual streamer's own resilience against the contributing factors to negative well-being suggests varying degrees of struggle. In this regard, the use of Twitch features appears to be a double-edged sword that can contribute to streamers' stressors, but also help them cope with negative well-being issues. Fascinating. I want to look at the references. What's up, Panimal? How's it going? You made it back. How was your 2-hour mountain bike ride? That sounds amazing. More established streamers with a larger following seem to place greater emphasis on income over socialization and performance, keeping a regular and frequent streaming schedule to retain viewers. Comprehensive channel analytics on Twitch in terms of audience and income metrics and trends also allows streamers to easily track and manage their channel performance. However, this might also facilitate an unhealthy fixation on streaming metrics, arising when streamers' own expectations are misaligned with their numbers or when streamers compare themselves negatively with more successful peers. These observations are consistent with findings from previous studies exploring the negative impact of social comparison in other forms of social media. The always be casting mentality can also lead to physical fatigue from prolonged exertion and sleep deprivation or burnout when streamers find themselves unable to keep up with their schedules. This mentality arises from the worry that viewers will stray from their channels if they're not consistently available in streaming, in turn reducing their earnings. However, some streamers also acknowledge that these concerns were largely unfounded based on their experiences when they were forced to take breaks. Hilbert, Bruce et al. 2018 have found that viewers' financial contributions to streamers were motivated by their desire for social interaction and a sense of community, suggesting that viewers will still support channels where they feel a sense of belonging and emotional connection. While a temporary drop in viewers and income has to be expected, particularly with longer breaks, viewers would typically return when they resumed. Hence, to manage well-being issues that arise from practices to maximize income, streamers also need to recognize that their perceptions might not accurately reflect their viewers, and they must be more receptive to promoting their own well-being with necessary breaks and manageable broadcast times. Boom, chat! That's what we said! Also, sitting a lot can be pretty unhealthy for your body. This is also true. This is also true. Yeah, so I think a lot of this is not surprising for many of us, but here's the thing. I feel like this is validating to a lot of creators because I think a lot of perspectives have changed, but there are still people, and I've seen some comments in chat today even, where people are like, you have a great job, you have a dream job, like why are you burning out? I mean, oh my god, you don't have to work a 9 to 5. Streaming and being a content creator is more than a 9 to 5. You work more hours than a 9 to 5. You don't clock in and clock out. You are always in the mentality of having to create content and produce content all the time. So I like that this study was done because this is validation for a lot of creators who feel these things but then get laughed at or scoffed at. Oh, you have it so hard. Oh my gosh. It's like, yeah, a job can be glorious and challenging and exhausting and rewarding all at the same time.